Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some information coming out from the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Now, we haven't talked about the Houthis in a while. It's been relatively quiet, but you know what? Over the last couple days, there's actually been lots of attacks taking place. There's been a lot of exchange of fire. The Houthis have apparently claimed to attack two U.S. Navy destroyers, the USS Cole and USS Laboon. Apparently, they attacked them in the Gulf of Aden. We don't have any information as to whether these destroyers were hit or anything like that, and this typically happens. We've heard, this is probably at least the third or fourth time, maybe more than that, that we have heard of U.S. warships coming under attack in the Gulf of Aden or the Red Sea. So apparently the Houthis targeted two U.S. Navy destroyers, and also we had a merchant vessel named Ship Ano that was targeted with ballistic missiles and drones as well yesterday. So this was all taking place yesterday, and we also had lots of drones, cruise missiles being fired, and the US and UK have actually conducted airstrikes near the port of Hodeidah, or in Hodeidah, I should say, 2 times in the last 24 hours, okay? They've been launching airstrikes in there to try to put a stop to these attacks that are happening in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Now, like I said, I haven't talked about this in a while, but I did see some information coming out earlier as well. There was a report from, I think, Business Insider saying that the U.S. basically lost control of the situation and they cannot stop these attacks any further. And think about this, too, that many of these weapons that the Houthis are firing, like drones, for example, whether it be an aerial drone or naval drone, many of these weapons are extremely cheap to produce compared to the $2 to $4 million a shot anti-air missiles that are being fired from these warships to take down these threats. Okay, so it is definitely very costly for the U.S. to remain down here, and they've been doing this for almost a year now. I mean, think about how long the U.S. has been down there protecting the Red Sea shipping lanes. And even though they're there, they are not even doing a very good job of protecting these ships. We still continuously hear of ships coming under attack, being hit by drones, missiles, all kinds of different things. So I want to go over a report today that kind of talks about what's been going on here over the last 48 hours or so. And then I also want to talk about some of these floods that are taking place. Apparently, the town of Hodeidah, or city of Hodeidah, is experiencing major floods right now. There's been lots of rain, and we've had like 60 people apparently that have been unfortunately killed in these floods that are taking place in Yemen as well. So I'm going to show you guys some video footage coming out from there in just a little bit. So I've got this report on Arab News. U.S. UK reconnaissance planes hit Houthi targets in Hodeidah. It says right here, attacks destroyed 2 drones, 3 cruise missiles, a control station, U.S. says. Iran-backed militia says 2 strikes centered on Al Jamana, which is a province, I believe, inside of Hodeidah, or near Hodeidah. The U.S. and UK military on Thursday attacked Houthi targets in Yemen's western province of Hodeidah for a second time in 24 hours. The Houthi-run al-Masirah said reconnaissance aircraft carried out 2 strikes on the Al Jamana area of Hodeidah. It did not name specific sites or say if there were any casualties or damage to property. The attacks came a day after U.S. and UK forces targeted Houthi sites in Taiz province. The U.S. Central Command said on Thursday morning that its forces had destroyed 2 Houthi drones, a ground control station, and 3 anti-ship cruise missiles in areas controlled by the militia. It added that Houthi weapons posed a threat to U.S.-led Marine coalition ships, as well as other naval and commercial vessels in international waters. So clearly, yeah, we've seen an uptick in attacks over the last couple months from the Houthis. The Houthis have stated they were going to continue attacking ships and they were going to increase this over time, which we have been seeing this repeatedly, almost at least once or twice a week. We hear of reports of ships coming under attack. But the strange thing here is that every time we hear this, we don't hear any reports anymore, no video footage, no nothing coming out from the Houthis or even from the Gulf of Aden or Red Sea. No video footage of these ships actually being hit or struck or anything like that. Sometimes we'll hear that they were hit, but we don't see anything coming out on X regarding this. So obviously, a lot of the focus right now is in Israel and also with Ukraine and their offensive inside of Russia. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update since we haven't talked about the Houthis in a while, since there has been a lot of attacks taking place in Yemen. So this reckless and dangerous behavior by Iranian-backed Houthis continues to threaten regional stability and security, it said. In response to Houthi attacks on ships in the Red Sea and other waterways in the region that began in November, the U.S. formed a coalition of marine task forces to protect vessels. It also designated the Houthis as a terrorist organization and launched strikes on Sana'a, Hodeidah, Sa'ida, and other areas held by the group, targeting missile and drone launchers, drone boats preparing to launch in other locations. The Houthis have disregarded the strikes and international demands for de-escalation in the Red Sea, extending their campaign to the Mediterranean Indian Ocean and pledging to continue assaulting ships until Israel ends its war in the Gaza Strip. On Wednesday, Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Saree said militia forces fired drones and ballistic missiles at U.S. Navy destroyers USS Cole and USS Laboon in the Gulf of Aden and attacked the merchant vessel Kant ship Ano with ballistic missiles and drones. Okay, so yesterday, like I said, 2 new U.S. Navy destroyers supposedly being targeted in an attack. We don't know if there was any damage or anything like that taking place. And then we also had the Kant ship Ano merchant vessel coming under attack by ballistic missiles and drones as well. And again, we don't have any information as to what happened here, but it says, according to the Marine Traffic website, the Kant ship Ano is a container ship that was traveling under the Liberian flag in the Red Sea on Thursday after arriving at Jeddah port. The Houthis claimed it was targeted because its parent company allowed its vessels to sail to Israeli ports. So obviously, if this was a ship that was going to head to Israel at some point, this would be obviously something they would attack, because they've come out many times and said they would attack any ships that port in Israel or plan to in the future. If they have any affiliation with Israel at all, they will attack them and try to destroy their ships. So that's some of the latest coming out from Yemen in regards to these attacks that have been taking place. It's been, for the most part, pretty quiet down there. But I thought it was very interesting that we just heard yesterday that there was 2 U.S. Navy warships that came under attack, because we haven't heard of that for probably maybe weeks or months now, the last time that happened. So let me just show you one last thing. I want to show you some of these floods that are taking place over here in Hodeidah as well. This is from Terror Alarm on X. Says divine intervention, at least 60 Houthis dead after flood hits the Houthi stronghold in Hodeidah, Yemen. So we've got 57 seconds of a major flood taking place in Yemen, in Hodeidah. So take a look at this.
كم سيارة؟ انقل.
Okay, so absolutely frightening. As we can see, this man was stuck in his truck, and at some point he ended up getting thrown from the truck once his truck stopped, and that was him later down there in it's basically a river now, but he got thrown from the truck and ended up getting out of the flood here later on down the stream. So I just wanted to share some of that with you that was coming out from Yemen. Obviously, they're having very, very big floods right now. There's lots of video footage and pictures coming out of lots of people being injured by these floods too. Apparently, it's a very, very massive flood. So at the same time, while their country is basically at war with the United States and Israel and the UK and attacking ships down here, they also have major flood issues happening in Hodeidah. And Hodeidah is exactly where Israel just bombed their port recently and destroyed many of their oil tanks and their oil facility there on the coastline in the port of Hodeidah. So I just wanted to share some of these updates coming out from Yemen and some of these strikes that the U.S. and the UK has been carrying out to try to put a stop to these attacks. But they've been doing this for a long time, and it doesn't appear to be working. But they're doing whatever they can to suppress the Houthis from continuing their attacks. So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.